This is WGRG 100.5 FM, where we meet the absolute minimum FCC broadcasting standards. It's time to hang on and brace yourself for a community radio program that's frankly indescribable. Let's talk Geneseo. Two guys with nothing better to do on a Friday morning but to talk about our community. Geneseo City Administrator Brandon Meglin and City Alderman Keith Kennett. And yeah, nobody, and I mean nobody, puts the blah in blah, blah, blah like these guys do.
And good Friday morning, listeners and viewers, here to Let's Talk Geneseo on this Friday, November 8th. Oh, here, let me turn on your mic there, Brandon.
There we are.
How's that, better?
I can hear myself now.
Yes. We've made some technical, what I'm hoping are technical improvements to the station. Might notice that we sound maybe a bit crisper.
These mic covers look different.
We have some little mic covers there and stuff. Trying to do a few more things to cut down on some of the equipment noise here in the room.
Noise, yeah.
But I think it's all good. But anyway, again, thanks to everyone for tuning in. Special guest, six-time guest appearance. That is by far and away. No, that would be by far and away.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really, Mark is become a third host, so I don't know if he counts as a guest anymore.
Doesn't Mark has his own entrance theme, right? You guys play 2112 for him. Where's my entrance theme? I mean, I've done this 6 times. Can I get Hulk Hogan's theme or something?
Pick one out.
Well, there you go, Hulk Hogan's theme.
All right, we'll work on that.
Let me make a note here.
Yeah, cue it up for after the show.
What's it called?
Oh, it's Rick Derringer, right? Proud to be an American.
Okay. Hulk theme for Zach.
Yeah, I'll take wrestling themes for 500, Alex.
Perfect. All right. Well, we'll work on that walk-up music and stuff for you. So. Yeah. But as you've heard, Zach is with us this morning to talk about happenings at the Chamber, but most importantly, with Christmas coming, a lot of things on the agenda. And so, Zach, a pleasure. Always appreciate you being in here. But so what's going on?
Yeah, thanks, Keith. Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate you having me back on to talk about some things happening in Geneseo, Illinois coming up. It is time for the Christmas season in Geneseo. There's no turning back, like it or not, it is here. And Thanksgiving is a pit stop on Christmas Road, so we are full-blown Christmas mode at the Geneseo Chamber. Lots of planning going on for the Geneseo Christmas Walk right now. Getting our sponsors lined up, starting to get the Jingle Run registrations coming in. We have the Gingerbread House contest is going to be happening again this year. Lots of great information. Go to geneseo.org or follow the Geneseo Christmas Walk on Facebook. We're going to have updates going on all month long for the event. So there's that. But then before that, we have our appetizer for the Christmas season, which is called Christmas Open House. This is the traditional kickoff to the holiday shopping season in Geneseo, in which the stores will stay open a little bit late on Friday, November 15th. That's next Friday. And from 4 to 7, the stores will be open, offering some extra deals, and they dim the lights and offer a more intimate shopping experience, candlelight shopping. So some stores will even put the candlelights in small luminaries outside of their stores. It's a really cool experience. There's a lot of stores who really go all out for this. And in addition to this, we do horse and wagon rides, right, that go through downtown Geneseo, and that's sponsored by our friends at Springfield Armory. And people can go for free on these horse and wagon rides, and it's really cool to get to experience downtown Geneseo at night with luminaries and candlelights on a horse and wagon ride. I mean, that is the hallmark of a made-for-TV Christmas movie right there. See how I did that? And then
nice tie-in. Very good, Zach.
And then in addition this year, we're doing something new. We're also doing the first lighting of the new Christmas tree. So the first lighting is exciting, and I really love how the timeline worked out this year, because earlier in June, we did an event called the Last Lighting, and that was the last lighting of the city Christmas tree, which we know was in very poor health. It was at extreme risk of failure, and it was determined by an independent arborist that it had to be removed. But we had an epic farewell celebration for the tree in June. 800 people showed up, we estimate, 700 to 800 people. And it was a cool summertime celebration. There were tons of kids out. I know that there was like a 200 square hopscotch that went down State Street. Uncle Bud's was there. There was Christmas music. And then we lit the tree with Santa Claus one more time. The fire department brought him in. But then the city took the action to remove the tree, which everyone has noticed now at the top of State Street and 2nd, it's now gone. So now there's a new Christmas tree coming in, and it's a big, beautiful tree. I have seen the tree, okay? And I've seen it lit up, and this is going to be such a beautiful centerpiece for downtown Geneseo during the holiday season. I think it's going to be marvelous. It's going to be an adjustment and a change, but there's no turning back from a tree that's been removed and that was dead. Eventually it was going to happen. And some people, I get it, may not like that there's a real tree versus, this artificial tree that's 26 feet tall, but I'll tell you what, it looks great. And plus, it's going to take a long time for something new like that to grow in an area on State Street that's not very good for growing trees. How often have, over the years, you look at the last 50 years, how often have new trees had to be planted on State Street? Well, it's because that area isn't very good for growing trees at all. And all urban areas that grow trees deal with the same situation. And I'm impressed by Geneseo to keep it going where you can for as long as you could. But with this specific tree and the event coming up with Christmas Walk, the tree had to come down. But I think that what is going to be replacing this, in addition to the new concrete that's been laid there by the city and the new stage setup, it's going to look really slick for the future of the Christmas Walk event, right? We're about to celebrate our 40th anniversary for the Geneseo Christmas Walk. This event has continually evolved over the years, right? It started as the Victorian Walk in 1986. Eventually it became the Christmas Walk. You started seeing new additions such as the Lighted Parade and the Jingle Run 5K. And this new tree is going to be another step of that evolution of the event over 40 years. And I can't wait for people to see it. I think people are going to be very impressed by the beauty and the brightness of this tree. So come one, come all, next Friday, November 15th, Christmas open house.
Yeah. Just to be clear, no one's seen the tree fully assembled yet.
That's
It's
true.
in parts because it's so big that you have to assemble it in a warehouse, essentially, in different sections that will come together by a crane and be bolted together by our utility departments. And luckily we have the equipment and the knowledge and great employees that can do these types of things for us in the morning, get it put together. It'll be the first time. That'll be coming up here when that gets staged. But yeah, the concrete pad that's been poured, they did a great job. City Street Department did that. Come to a nice level surface there. There sounds like a simple project, but like everything, there's challenges that you run into. And then it has electric to the area now too, which should be nice for Channel 50 when we do filmings out there, as well as Chamber of Commerce to have the stage and the stage production there with Santa lighting the tree. So that'll be nice.
Yeah, I think it's a great addition, and no one's going to trip over an extension cord and accidentally unplug the Christmas tree. So when we count down and nothing happens, we avoid that.
Don't jinx it.
That was my first Christmas walk. Now, yeah, hey,
At least we're pretty sure that will.
yeah. Now, hey, I'm not the most superstitious person. That's why we're doing this during Christmas open house, right? We'll work out the bugs, so then when it's the big show for Christmas walk, everything should be fine.
Yeah, Eric Rold and I were talking yesterday that we'll probably go out there late at night, one of these upcoming nights, and do a little test run on the new remote control and, how you actually throw the switch behind the scenes to make sure that it goes off without a hitch, hopefully.
Well, we should give a shout out to Zach, again, the busiest man in Chamber of Commerce scene, or however you want to reference that. But the sections of the tree have been lovingly assembled. It's kind of interesting in that it's almost like it's just a big version of what your home artificial tree would be, except everything's like supersized. But there's a bit of a process to getting all the branches hung in place and bolted down and this and that. But the worst part, and Zach did great here, was the fluffing. It's the fluffing of the branches. Yeah. And boy, and I would fluff a section and but man, Zach would do it. It all looked great and did about 10 times as much fluffing as I did.
Pro fluffer for sure.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm a Christmas elf.
Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. So we look forward to having it all in place. And again, we think it'll be a nice addition to the walk and a worthy successor to our much beloved, but sadly, again, live trees don't last forever. And I think most people, even that came out in June, when they're looking at it, you can kind of see it in the daylight, pretty much said, wow, I guess I didn't realize it was split like that, or I didn't realize that it was so dead. So anyway, we welcome that next Friday.
Yeah.
And another thing happening next Friday during Christmas open house, again, it's the kickoff to the holiday shopping season in Geneseo. So the Geneseo Chamber will be kicking off our Shop Geneseo promotion, in which when customers spend $100 at participating Geneseo Chamber member business stores, they enter to win a drawing for a variety of prizes. So we're getting some prizes lined up for that right now, and customers can pick up the cards at most participating stores as well as the Geneseo Chamber office. And that promotion will run for a month, November 15th through December 15th. And then in December, we'll draw for all the winners, and people will have a little bit of a merrier Christmas with some of the prizes that they'll earn. So shop Geneseo because it pays off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the other things we should mention too is, which will be a new addition to the decor this year, is we lost some of the pine trees, including the mayor's Christmas tree. So one of the steps that we took is from Second now to Main Street downstate. We're going to extend the lighted garland along the decorative street poles, and so we'll see lighted pathways extending all the way down to Main, which will be nice. And we've upgraded and redone the hanging baskets, which will come back this year on all of the poles downtown as well too. So looking forward to those going up next week.
Mm-hmm.
What else in the chamber world, Zach?
So, earlier this week, we hosted our annual Fall Breakfast. This has been an annual networking event that I think is over 25 years we've been doing now at the Geneseo Chamber. And this year we had Peter Tokar, he is the president and CEO of the Quad City Chamber, join us and give us a quick rundown of what's happening in the Quad Cities on a regional economic front. To learn more about how the Quad Cities Chamber works, they are quite a larger chamber than we are. For example, they have 30 employees, we have 2. But they have the resources in a bigger area, and they do a lot of great work in the Quad Cities to help businesses in the region, which includes Henry County and Geneseo. And so the big thing that we tried to underscore with this year's Fall Breakfast event was the connection between the Quad Cities and Geneseo and how a regional effort lifts all of the boats, right? And the Quad Cities Chamber is starting a new economic arm of the chamber known as Grow Quad Cities, which is going to specifically focus on economic development, place finding, site surveying, attracting new businesses to the Quad Cities, because new businesses in the Quad Cities creates jobs for Geneseoans. Mm-hmm. There's many people from Geneseo who travel and make the commute every day to the Quad Cities. My wife's one of them. So I think that that's great that the Quad Cities Chamber is including Geneseo in these efforts and being intentional about it. Peter came to Geneseo a few weeks earlier, and Jess and I at the Chamber took him on a tour of downtown Geneseo because he's newer to the area. He's from Texas, but he has so much economic development know-how, and he is such a great resource to have. And so I kind of introduced him and then told him what some of our very basic goals are for growing our local economy. Not getting into the weeds so much, but on the aggregate, here's basically the 10-year plan. And man, his insight is incredible, and I'd love to have him back for like an economic development meeting or something of the sort. But something else I appreciate about the Quad Cities Chamber is that right now they asked us at the Geneseo Chamber to come along on a trip to Washington, D.C. next year to advocate for our region. And they're looking for Illinois representation. So not only is the Geneseo Chamber invited, and hopefully we can make the trip, but Geneseo business owners are also invited to come along, all right? And I want to extend that invitation here on the air right now to anyone who's listening, that if you'd like to come along, let us know at the Geneseo Chamber, and the trip will happen, I think, April 8th through 11th, and we're going to Washington, D.C. The goal is to advocate for Geneseo and put Geneseo front and center in front of our lawmakers and decision makers in Washington, D.C., and hopefully to better secure some grant money that can help benefit our community and our region. That's the goal. I'll have specific community goals in mind, and we'll be asking our membership for what some of their goals are as well, and we'll take that to heart, and we'll take those concerns and thoughts to D.C. with us.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. What about Christmas Walk? Did you mention the theme this year?
Yes. So the theme for this year's Christmas Walk is Too Many Santas, right? And what we're doing, you think like Where's Waldo, but with Santa Clauses all over the place. We want all the Santas. And we did this because we've kind of thought about this a little bit. To be perfectly honest, where the theme came from, it came from the Primus song, Too Many Puppies. And I started thinking Too Many Santas, and I was like, this is cool. But then that was compounded because last year, and I'm kind of going against some good advice to talk about this story, but I'm going to tell it because I feel like it needs to be told for this to make sense.
This is the place for that to happen.
Yeah. So last year, there was a renegade Santa who for lack of a better term, just jumped right into the middle of the parade and started, ho, 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 welcome to our parade. And dude, there's one Santa Claus. You know, I exclusively book Santa Claus from the North Pole to be in this parade, and he rides on the fire truck. This is all organized and coordinated. And so this guy jumps in, he's doing this whole thing. I'm not recognizing him from the stage because you're not a part of the parade, dude. And so the story is that Zach is back, you know, behind the scenes stewing over this. How dare a renegade Santa hijack the Geneseo Christmas Walk lighted Christmas parade? Well, how can we mitigate this in the future? Well, if we have so many Santas at this Christmas event, this Santa Claus is going to blend in, and he can't jump out and stand out like he did last year, and that is Zach's revenge. So that's kind of
there you go.
Another idea of the theme. But we can have a lot of fun with this too, right? We want different Santa Clauses, right? Hawaiian Santa Claus. We want Santa Claus in different colors. We want tall Santas, short Santas. We have a grand entrance plan for the real Santa Claus, which, by the way, is confirmed for Christmas Walk, okay? I've already talked to him. He knows what's going on. He thinks it's a fun theme. But it's also a way for Geneseo to honor Santa Claus, you know? Every year, he makes time to visit Geneseo during the holiday season for our Christmas Walk to help us light the tree and celebrate the holiday season. And booking Santa Claus is bigger than booking Paul McCartney, you know? So we're able to have this connection. And I told him what was going on. He thought it was a great idea. And we're going to have a big motorcade actually accompanying Santa this year. It's going to be quite impressive. We have a limousine in this motorcade even. And it's going to be protected by Farm & Fleet's fleet of elves. Elf Force One is going to be with us from Farm & Fleet to kind of surround the motorcade for security for Santa Claus, because people are going to want to bum rush him like he is one of the Beatles. And we need to make sure that we maintain some separation with as many people that are in downtown Geneseo for the event. So Santa will be there for us, but that's kind of the origins of Too Many Santas. We want as many Santas as possible just to have a lot of fun and a celebration of St. Nicholas.
You got to admit that imposter Santa was a pretty good-looking imposter, though.
You know what? Props to him. You know, take your victory lap if you're listening, because you inspired an entire Christmas Walk theme, my friend. Take your victory lap.
Well, look forward to this. That'll be a fun addition to look forward to. And anything, hey, like Elf Force One, very nice.
Yeah, Farm & Fleet came up with that idea. We put out an ask for volunteers to help with a elf secret service, so to speak, you know. And then Farm & Fleet approached us. Jerry Reedy came up and had this great idea, and I got goosebumps when he told me. I was like, this is such a good idea. Oh my gosh. So Farm & Fleet, thank you for getting involved in all the businesses. You know, we're starting to line up all these sponsors, and that's what makes our Christmas events in Geneseo so special, is that so many businesses lean into this event and lean into the theme and get involved. They invest financially, or they invest with their time and resources to make this a memorable event for everyone. That's why it's attracting over 10,000 people a year, is because of all the work so many people put into it and the pride that they take in the work for this almost 40-year-old event.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So you have some more media appearances today, right?
Yeah, you're busy.
Woo, yeah. This is the first of 4 today, promoting the new Christmas tree, the first lighting, and Christmas open house. I have an interview with Quad City Times later today. I will be pre-recording an interview with WQAD on Zoom, and then I will be on Quad Cities Live on KWQC this afternoon at 3. So that's another day in the office for the Chamber, but that's what we're here to do, is to help promote Geneseo and to put Geneseo on that regional map, to bring people to Geneseo so that they shop and dine and hopefully are exposed to Geneseo, and maybe they want to establish a business here or live here. We have a great school system. You know, I'm probably preaching to the choir here with our Geneseo audience, but we have a great school system, a great hospital. The library is a fantastic local resource. Our park district, obviously the city, the fire department, our emergency services. There's so many great amenities here in Geneseo. And that's one of the purposes that these events serve, is that it exposes Geneseo to people who could potentially get involved with Geneseo, whether they live here and do business, and it's a win-win.
Yep. Well, you're starting with the best media program in the Quad Cities, so unfortunately it's all downhill from here for you today, Zach. But,
yeah, I'll tell you,
might
you
as well start with the best.
You'll get to see how the slackers do it against us professionals here with our
This is a nice
high
setup.
technology.
You know, this is a nice
When
setup.
it works, it's all great.
Yeah. But I mean, that's why we're here, you know, in Geneseo. That's why we do these at the Geneseo Chamber, you know. We work really hard to get people to Geneseo, to market Geneseo. In fact, I have a marketing committee meeting after this. We're running an advertising campaign right now with MediaCom, running commercials outside of the Geneseo area to bring people here. And we're also running a YouTube campaign simultaneously for some pre-rolls for some of our commercials. We received a grant earlier this year, and we will be making more commercials next year, and we already have our entire advertising plan financed for 2025. So big things are happening in Geneseo, and that's what we do, is that we play the Geneseo trumpet for people to come one, come all, and we play it loud and we play it really good. So we're proud of the work we do, but our work's never done. And you always, in my opinion, as a chamber director, you always got to play with a chip on your shoulder. Even though, things are going good, you can't lose that hunger, that thirst and that drive. And that's what motivates me, is that we can always get better. And you look at, I've been here for 5 years now at the Geneseo Chamber. And I've seen the growth that's happened in downtown Geneseo. I've seen the growth that's happened around Geneseo and then internally at the Geneseo Chamber. And we're proud of that. And that momentum is going to keep up, because when a town has a chamber that's functioning like we are right now with growth, right? We've gone from 197 members when I started. We're at 293 today. We've gained 2 new members this week. I'd like to welcome Trey Bella Art and Sterling Business Machines to the Geneseo Chamber, by the way. Thank you for joining. But these are all positive signs that things are going right, not only at the Geneseo Chamber, but if our business community sees fit to keep and continuing to support this chamber because they see what's happening, that's a sign of economic health, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. There are plenty of chambers of commerce out there, and we don't compete against them, but they don't do what we do. And we're always happy to help share resources, and there's a variety of reasons, right? Maybe they don't have the resources. Some only have one part-time person. Some it's all volunteer-based. But in Geneseo, you have 2 full-time professionals working for our business community to lift this community up and make it the, as I call it, the regional diamond that it is. Geneseo is an amazing place for all to see, not only for visitors to come here, but for people listening right now who live in Geneseo. Don't forget to support your local stores, because really our local audience who lives right here in town is our biggest audience, and they're the ones that we're going to look to the most for support. So I just want to encourage and kindly remind everyone to please shop and dine in Geneseo.
Yeah. Don't be afraid of those big crowds on the 15th. Come on out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Zach, we know you have to bug out of here and head to the next appearance, but as always, appreciate you being on. If, again, as I've said before, if there's ever a person that was born for the career he's in,
Sure.
It is definitely you. And you do a lot for not only the chamber, of course, but for the community, and look forward to the events coming up.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it, and we'll see you next weekend, all right?
Yep. Thanks,
Sounds
Zach.
good. Well, Brandon,
One guy
anything?
that doesn't need coffee to get going in the morning.
I'm tired just being around Zach in the morning. And I should point this out, too, that those viewing would notice this, but no notes.
No.
Zach's just, it's all
I love it.
from the heart and the
I
mind.
get to save my voice for the rest of the day when we have Zach on. It's we can just sit back and let him roll with this thing. Thanks, Zach.
Yeah, so, but anyway, on the city calendar, or any items coming up that are noteworthy?
Yeah, well, I think got a couple things. Veterans Day is on Monday. Take a minute to honor those who have served on that day. Isle of Flags will take place starting at 7 a.m. The setup of the Isle of Flags, just a really beautiful thing that we do here in Geneseo to honor those that have served. And if you haven't came out and experienced the process of actually participating in it, we highly encourage you to do so. There's always volunteers that are needed. It's a process. They are very large flags, and there are, I don't even know how many. I think they're adding more to this Veterans Day. Every time that they go up, there's more that are added. I want to say it's over 900
I was
now.
going to say, I think it's over 900. And yes, there's usually a pretty good turnout of volunteers and what have you. But if there is the one holiday that's maybe a bit more of a struggle, it's Veterans Day.
Yeah.
So, would extra appreciate any assistance in setup or takedown that you might be able to go out. And even if you can go out and help for 15, 20 minutes, that can make a big difference.
Cooler weather in the morning is going to keep some folks in that may come out during the summertime months when they go up. So definitely, I know they would appreciate that. And it's a nice thing to participate in, to get your day started or come in the afternoon and help take them down. Mm-hmm. So that's Monday. The Geneseo Chamber of Commerce has already tied yellow ribbons on all the trees out there. They started doing that a few years ago. So that's nice. And then, of course, tomorrow, Keith, big game coming up that you'll be at, running the TV 50 broadcast, right?
Yep, big Green Machine travels back to Chicago, not very far away from where we played last week, but to take on DePaul College Prep. they will definitely be maybe a bit of a tougher challenge for the Green Machine, but wish them all the best as we travel for that 1 p.m. game tomorrow.
Yeah.
And actually, there was a pretty good turnout of Geneseo fans at the Sullivan game last week. So we usually do travel well, but just a shout out to everybody that made the trip up to the north side, and hopefully we have a similar crowd again this week. Looks like the weather earlier in the week looked a little iffy, maybe a chance of showers and this and that, but last I checked earlier this morning, at least up in Chicago, they're saying partly cloudy and upper 50s. So, hey, we'll take that for November 9th.
That game was a shutout, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Be a little more challenging tomorrow, probably.
It will definitely be more of a challenge. But and a big shout out though to Sullivan High School and also to the management staff for Chicago Public Schools that operate the stadium. Whenever we go on the road, a little bit of a challenge, and then whenever it's to a facility that we haven't been at before, we really rely on a lot of pre-game preparation and that sort of thing, and they were nothing but helpful and just good sportsmanship and just a good program up at Sullivan High School.
Nice. Yep, other things, city council meeting coming up on Tuesday, that's November the 12th at 6 p.m. Council meetings are always on the second and fourth Tuesday of every month.
And
at
you
6 p.m.
And you can watch the live stream on YouTube.
Yeah, you can't make it. Always live streaming on YouTube. Just search City of Geneseo on the YouTube search bar, and you'll find the channel with the city logo, and then it'll come up with the live stream if you tune in right at 6 o'clock. So that'll be Tuesday. Other items of interest, city burn pile. This is time of year when people are very interested on when they can take their yard waste out there if they don't use the Republic curbside service. So the next time that is open, it's open every other Friday, Saturday this time of year to take yard waste out to. The next time that'll be open will be next weekend, next week, Friday, Saturday. That's November 15th and 16th. And then that this year we're running that all the way. The last day that'll be open will be December the 7th. That's a Saturday. It'll be open that Friday the 6th before it as well. So just for those who are planning on when are all the leaves going to come down on this tree or that tree, you can kind of gauge when you should be picking those up and taking them out if you want to utilize the burn pile.
And just a reminder too to do what you can, but if you're mowing the grass or what have you, but to try to minimize the having discharge and stuff go out into the street. Still like to try and keep the storm sewers as clear as possible. No big rains or anything in the forecast, but still, it's best to, as best we can, because obviously Mother Nature is also putting a load, naturally into the street. But just be aware of that to kind of keep it as clean as possible along the curb.
Yeah, it's kind of nice for November with those rains. We kind of greened back up. It's a nice growth, and the grass is looking good out there. So
yeah, all good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think of anything else. State Street's moving along, the construction. Again, it's been great weather this fall for that project. If anybody's taken a look and peeked down there, you can see a lot of the street surfaces in place, and can kind of get a sense then of what it will look like as they continue on down in the next year or so to Ogden. But a nice but much needed improvement for that section of State Street, and probably one of the more, again, we're trying to minimize disruption through the entire project, but probably this first section here probably would have the most, with the church and kind of right on the edge of the business district and what have you. It'll be nice to kind of get that all wrapped up and moving on.
Yeah. The projects are all still on schedule to be completed by the end of this month, probably before, hopefully before the Thanksgiving holiday, but we'll see how it goes. We should see State Street open back up here the next couple of weeks, as well as the North Street water project as well. That's in conclusion stages there, where they're abandoning the 4-inch water main, and you see some final digging and abandonment at the intersections there as the services have switched over to the 8-inch main. So,
yeah, and maybe that's something to be aware of too. But that as there's been random, I guess I would call them street closures, as they've been pouring concrete now and different things as well.
Yeah.
But be nice to have that all wrapped up and have that new main utilized to serve the residents and users on that section.
Yep.
I guess that's about all I have in my tank there.
We hit it right on cue today for once. This is right going in 7:59, 8 o'clock. So
Yeah.
that's all I can think of right now, Keith.
Yeah, and I probably should give a shout out to we referenced it a little bit in talking with Zach, but there actually has been a fair amount of effort and stuff and volunteer effort. City staff's been involved and what have you in the what I'll call the pre-assembly of the Christmas tree.
Oh, yeah.
But just appreciate everybody that's put in extra efforts and stuff to get that all ready so that the four sections, I think?
Yeah, 4 sections, and then as Zach mentioned, it's the artificial tree component is 26 feet in height, and then we are using the historic, the same tree topper that was on the live tree, the old mare's tree. That's a 4-foot topper, so that'll go on top of the tree. That's been repainted. We're relighting it with twinkle lights that fade in and out, hundreds of lights inside of it, so it'll have this nice glowing effect on the top of the tree. It'll be 30 feet in height when all is said and done. And yeah, like Keith said, Public Works, Electric, Eric Roald, Chad Van de Woestein really deserve a lot of credit for making these big ideas actually happen once we get this product in place. And how do we actually engineer the assembly and use our equipment, get it there in an efficient manner, and get this thing set up. And this will be the first time we do it, and we'll be kind of figuring some things out when we get out there and making sure everything's stable and safe and in place for the first time. But that concrete pad looks great, and should be a smooth process. We think we got all the boxes checked right now.
There you go. Well, mark it on the calendars again. Next Friday will be the official unveiling. Although obviously you'll notice,
Yeah.
you'll notice it being put in place
Next week. Yeah.
Might be kind of interesting to watch the sections drop in place. But yeah, I just found that interesting that it pretty much is just a big version of the box you get at Menards, or if you pick up an artificial tree somewhere, and you just put the hooks in and A1 goes to B1 to all that stuff.
Just a much sturdier and larger
Yes.
frame to be able to
Yes.
withstand the outdoor elements and the wind factor and things. But other than that, the assembly is just bigger branches.
a lot of bolts and a lot of things lock in place, and it's definitely a heavy duty commercial thing and something that will serve the city for years and years and years. And again, look forward to that all coming to be. Well, if there's nothing else, I think we can pull the plug on this one, Brandon. Always a pleasure having you in. I also appreciate all the viewers and listeners here of Let's Talk Geneseo. And, of course, Grow Green Machine tomorrow up in Chicago. And I guess that's about it. So have a great weekend. This is WGRG 100.5 FM in Geneseo.